Well, India, meantime, is considering a host of new COVID-19 curbs after authorities detected at least 4 cases of the Omicron BF.7 variant. Well, that's believed to be the coronavirus strain driving China's current surge in cases. Airports have already begun randomly testing 2% of passengers arriving in the country, and authorities are expected to announce new curbs to prevent outbreaks from spreading during Christmas and New Year's. Residents have already been advised to mask up in crowded places. The government could also reimpose its mask-wearing rule in all public venues. Government leaders are keeping a close eye on the alarming rise in infections across the world. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a high-level COVID meeting with officials to decide on more preventive measures. And Neha Punya, she joins us live now from New Delhi. Neha, India seems very concerned about this growing outbreak, even though case numbers seem relatively low for now.
That's right. India's Health Minister told Parliament today very categorically that his government wants to be proactive in dealing with the surge in cases that many countries, including neighbouring China, are reporting. And the scenes in China, in many ways, similar to what India dealt with during the second wave, when there was a critical shortage of resources and the healthcare setup was just not able to cope with the number of cases we were seeing. At one point, more than 400,000 in a single day. And, in the last 15 to 20 days, we've seen daily cases, coming in at less than 200. But the big reason why the government is concerned is because for the last several months, there have been no COVID protocols in place. There's been very lax masking, which is a big concern. In fact, it was very striking to see the health minister wearing a mask in Parliament while he was speaking, as well as other members of Parliament, because we've not seen scenes like that at all. Even when you go out, most people aren't wearing their masks. Large gatherings are still being held. Right now, we're in the midst of India's 3-month-long wedding season where major gatherings take place. That's a big concern as well. You've got festivities coming up with Christmas and New Year's just around the corner. And of course, a lot of the medical facilities that were set up in response to the second wave have also been disbanded. So Prime Minister Modi's meeting focused on all of that, ensuring these facilities, particularly quarantine facilities as well as testing facilities, are back up and running. There's also talk of possibly imposing a mask mandate. The government has so far not issued any directives. It's only suggesting that people wear their masks, especially in crowded places.
Well, as you've mentioned that the government is only suggesting, but possibly all these curbs and more could be reimposed in the country because of all these big holidays that are coming up.
Absolutely, that's a big concern. And one of the directives that the government has issued to state governments is to ensure there are no mass gatherings that take place and people are masking properly. So we might see implementation of that if a mask mandate is made compulsory. The government is also at the same time maintaining it doesn't want to implement any sort of knee-jerk reactions or directives. And that there's no need to panic just yet. It's just trying to be proactive and get ahead of a surge if one is around the corner. There were many demands from parliamentarians suggesting that flights from China be banned. The government says there are no direct flights, but it doesn't feel the need to restrict international travel just yet. It is, however, screening 2% of all incoming international passengers randomly. They're not being quarantining, but if they're found to have tested positive, government authorities will get in touch with them and will direct what the next course of treatment should be. And of course, the big focus is going to be on booster shots. India has 90% of coverage as far as the first 2 doses of COVID-19 shots are concerned. But in light of falling cases, many people have not been showing up for their booster doses. So the government is urging state officials to get that taken care of. But doctors are warning that the current vaccines may not be enough to fight the current mutated strains. So that might also be something the government may have to consider in the days ahead.
Good to know. Thanks very much for that report. Neha Punya speaking to us live from New Delhi.